You're tuned in to the Behind the Ears podcast with Uncle Danny and Mr. Chris, because everybody does Disney differently. Expedition Roasters is the artisanal roaster of specialty Disney-inspired coffees. Why not brew some of the magic at your home? Some of our coffees include Skipper's Brew, Ghoulish Delight, Enchanted Tiki Coconut, Redhead Rum, and many other unique roasts. Our coffees are certified gluten and allergen-free and feature unique custom artwork by guest artists. Expedition Roasters offers an adventure in every bag. So start your adventure today by visiting us online at expeditionroasters.com. That's expeditionroasters.com. And Behind the Ears listeners, be sure to take advantage of this exclusive offer and save 20% on your first purchase with code EARS20. That's EARS20 at expeditionroasters.com. Brew your happy place.
Oh boy!
Do you have a little one and don't want to bring your stroller from home? Have you destroyed a stroller in the past from all the wear and tear from a Disney vacation? Well, Kingdom Strollers is a great place to rent a great quality stroller at a reasonable price. Kingdom Strollers is a Disney-featured stroller provider, which means they will deliver it right to your resort, even if you're not there. Same thing for picking it up at the end of your trip. So if you're in need of an affordable stroller rental during your next Orlando trip, consider renting from a Disney-trusted stroller company. Visit kingdomstrollers.com for more information.
Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of Behind the Ears podcast. I am Uncle Danny, all hyped up on pre-workout protein that I should not have taken this late at night. The man on the other side of the glass, that is Mr. Chris, repping no shades, but the sun is glaring off of that bright yellow mouthpiece. Sir, how are you?
For a minute, I thought you were going to say the sun is glaring off of that big forehead. I thought you were going to go there, man. And I was
going to give you some space. I wasn't going to kill you with anything.
Well, I'd have to laugh about it because it's okay being follically challenged. I'm fine with it. It's really cool. We got a great show. Let's talk. We're going to we're going to do a little bit of news, and then we're going to go into our feature presentation. Last week, we had a really cool throwdown where Danny and I kind of defended some of our favorite resorts. Okay, I will concede that everybody liked your defense better, okay? And I'm man enough to basically say, okay, fine. That's okay. I'm okay with that. That's all good. It's cool. It's groovy. Tonight we're going to talk about, in our throwdowns, resort quick serve locations. I'm not going to necessarily say food court because not all resorts actually have an actual food court with a whole bunch of different stations. Some of them are done a little bit differently than others. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So I think that's really kind of cool. So I don't have the newsreel up, Danny, but couple things that I saw. Did you happen to see a video that was kind of floating around about a little tiny alligator or something like that actually got up onto one of the logs of the raft, but that goes back and forth between near Splash Mountain and Tom Sawyer's Island?
No, really?
No, seriously, they made a big deal about it. In the article itself, but seriously, it had to be maybe not even a foot long.
I would have picked them up.
I mean, it was just, and there was nobody there. It was raining, and all of a sudden it kind of hopped on, and then went away, and people were making such a big, huge stink over it. It was on. Okay, here's the source: TMZ.com. Now, do you see where I'm going with this? It's come on.
Yeah.
It's
I understand that one. Yeah,
that
one's tough.
It's cute. It was really cute. It was really adorable and stuff like that. But it was kind of funny on how they made it sound like, oh my gosh, the world's coming to an end. Oh! Actually found that to be That was relatively humorous. Um, so I'm also going to I'm going to go ahead and throw this out. Did you see the newest thing about the Walt Disney Company is going to basically be giving out some bonuses to people? Did you happen to see that
Did
one?
see that. Yes. Then, we do have quite a few cast members that are listeners of the show. Whether we have a big following in the Disney College program, which me and Chris were kind of shocked to find that one out. That was a fun little tidbit we found out.
Yeah.
And we do have some other cast members that frequent the show, and so, congratulations to you guys. And I know me and Chris have never gotten involved with the whole negotiations. We've kind of stayed very neutral on it. But, hey, man, who doesn't love getting a bonus? You all deserve it. You all work extremely hard for it. So congratulations. There's plenty of other major companies, not going to mention any that I know of, that are not giving out major bonuses. So kudos to you guys. Yeah,
I think, well, I think it's safe to say that neither one of our places of business, at least, has not announced anything at this point. So I don't know. I'm just very fortunate, and I feel very fortunate, very sincerely, that I have a job today in these days. I don't have any qualms about that. I think it's cool because, you know what? My job allows me to basically do stuff like this at night. And, me and you both are very fortunate that, no matter what kind of a day we have, and we both have our good days and bad days during our day job, but we get to spend a couple nights a week talking with some great people and talking about our favorite topic. So what else can possibly go wrong? I will tell you this, though, before we actually get into the whole throwdown discussion, we did have someone post a picture of some Casey's corn dog nuggets over on the WDW community page. And the question was, what do you put on your nuggets? I mean...
Sorry. My mind went... I'm a big ketchup person. Maybe mix it with a little mustard. I know that the question is going to come in about the plastic cheese. I am not a avid fan of the cheese, but listen, cheese that comes out of a bag or a can always worries me. And I'm not talking about like a loaf of cheese, or I call it a loaf, but like a brick of cheese that you unwrap and then cut it that way. Or speak of like liquid cheese that comes in like a tinfoil bag. Sorry, some of the comments, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of just ketchup and mustard, but you mix it together.
I do too.
Yeah.
But you have to mix it together with a French fry.
Oh yeah.
You take the ketchup, you get a little cup, ketchup, mustard, mixed together with the French fry, eat French fry, then you can dip your corn dog nuggets. Every once in a while, I will go ahead and alternate between ketchup and mustard mix and cheese, not in the same bite.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you've seen some ketchup, some cheese.
What
does Disney do with the magic bands that everybody forget? Oh, sorry.
We'll get to that in a
Thought
second.
that was a...
We'll ask that question.
Mustard and relish. That's an interesting one.
Really, for corn dog nuggets? Mustard and relish. A combination mustard and relish. You ever see like the relish that was in like a squeeze jar? You ever see that? They actually had mustard and relish combined in the squeeze. I could never get it to actually come out of the jar. You always had to open it up and take a spoon or a knife or something and get it out that way. So it's one of those things. Some people are saying, it's not really cheese. Yeah.
It's not. Sorry, loaf of cheese. I don't know. It's like a loaf of bread. I don't know.
Dude, that's not too far from... I remember when my grandmother used to go and she used to volunteer at some of these places where they would hand out, government cheese, right? It's these 5-pound bricks of cheese, and it is actually a loaf of cheese. It wasn't cut up or anything. It looked like a huge, gigantic loaf of bread, but it was cheese, and it was heavy. So a loaf, I would go loaf.
Stomach turn.
Ketchup and mayo mixed. I can't do that. That's ketchup.
Ketchup and mayo is great with French fries because it's like that special sauce from McDonald's. When they used to put the.
Wait a second. Melanie just said that she threw the nuggets at the Ducks. I don't know
Are
how
you
to.
talking about like the breading?
I don't know how to
Because there's
take that.
times like if I can't finish them, like if my eyes were bigger than my stomach, and for a big guy that happens all the time, surprisingly. There's times like I'll eat the hot dog and leave like the bread. And like I'll give them to the ducks. I know you're not supposed to, but
No, you're not supposed to.
yeah.
Oh boy, but that was
It is what
I
you do.
saw that. Anytime anybody posts anything like that on the community page, I have to chuckle a little bit because I love Casey's however I can get it. Especially the corn dog nuggets, and I don't know. It's just so simple. I mean, I still enjoy myself a good meal at Disney, and I believe that you can have a good meal at Disney at any of the quick service places, but it does vary. But tonight, Danny, you and I are going to talk a little bit about food courts or quick serve at the resorts, not in the parks, but in the resorts. And I'm going to tell you my resort and my restaurant. Then you tell me ours, or yours, I should say, excuse me. And then we can start talking about why we think that it's a good, solid choice. For
Okay.
me, this is going to be a different one. People,
Oh,
what?
sorry.
Oh, really? Really? You interrupted with a boo right off the bat.
The
Wow.
heckler in the crowd. Someone get him out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I like the Contempo Cafe at the Contemporary Resort. Hmm?
Okay.
Okay. And so what is
Solid choice.
yeah, I think so. We'll get more into that. What is your choice?
Well, since the Poly won last week
Oh
by
gosh.
a landslide, we might as well. I don't want to deter our listeners from having to go on monorails and buses and rent a cars.
Oh
I'm going
my.
to keep you centrally located, people. We're going, boom, Captain Cook's inside of the
A
Polynesian.
very good choice. A very good choice. And I think actually I will go ahead and say one thing. Captain Cook's has actually, I think, improved in its ability to handle larger crowds these days. And we're going to get more into this. You know what? I'm going to tell you what. I opened last time. I'm going to allow
Okay.
you to give your opening statement on why you like Captain Cook's so good. And really, are you doing the Rocky bit with
We're
me
going
here?
Rocky, baby.
Oh my gosh. Da 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 boom boom da 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 da
That
da.
pre-workout is ready for the fight tonight. All right. First of all, it's centrally located at Polynesian. You're already going to stay there because you have the extra money, and you're like, hey, I want to listen to Uncle Danny, so I'm going to go to the Polynesian. And just like one of the main reasons I told you all to stay at Polynesian is the main reason to go to Captain Cook's. Maybe you're walking around Poly. You can't get a reservation upstairs. You're like, oh no, where am I going to get my Tonga toast? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you hold on tight, you buckle the seatbelts, because you can get Tonga toast at Captain Cook's. Captain Cook's has an extensive meal menu for lunch and dinner. They are open 24 hours. That is right. They are open from 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. Maybe you're like, oh, all right, I like Tonga toast, but I had it once. I want something, more Disney than Tonga toast, which is almost sacrilegious to say. You could still get your Mickey waffles made to order with bacon or sausage. They have a bounty breakfast platter, which is fantastic. The breakfast sandwich, it's on a croissant. I don't believe in breakfast sandwich being on croissants. The breakfast burrito, easy to go. Put it right in your hand. You walk to the monorail. Boom. You are good to go. They also have a kid size Mickey waffle for anybody interested. But, maybe you're like, Danny, you know what? I'm not a breakfast person. I need lunch. I need dinner. I mean, you want to talk about an extensive menu. Maybe you're in the mood for Pan Asian noodles and vegetables. Maybe you want some Thai coconut meatballs, some curry seafood stew, some pork fried rice, or if you want to go with the Uncle Danny special, you get the big Kahuna sandwich, which is turkey, ham, salami, roast beef, Swiss cheese, lettuce, tomato on a nice bun with red pepper spread and chips. And honestly, that's a big sandwich for $11.29.
That does
They have
that does look
flatbreads.
good.
more kids menus, which the kids menus, hey, maybe you just want a burger, boom, they have that. Maybe you're like Danny, I don't want all this, I'm a vegetarian. Well, guess what? We've got salads with chicken, without chicken, because obviously you're a vegetarian, you don't want chicken. They've got vegetable noodles from Pan Asian style. The Aloha pork sandwich is absolutely stunning, and I mean
yeah, it is.
stunning.
It is. It is.
There was a couple. Listen, do I think the decor is
Bland.
on point? Yes, very, very bland. Besides that, though, I think it's pretty solid. They also have the pulled pork nachos, which seem to be a fan favorite.
Have you had those by chance?
I'm not a pulled pork fan, so no.
Oh, okay. I will tell you, I've had those. I've actually had those on a couple occasions, and I will say the sandwiches and those pulled pork nachos are actually very, very good.
See, look, I'm already turning Chris, and he
No,
hasn't even
no,
said
no,
his
no.
idea.
No, you're not turning anybody. It's just the fact that I admit when something is really, really good. I mean, hey, a good lunch offering is a good lunch offering. I don't care who you are.
And literally,
Mhm.
you walk out that back door, say, you know what? You get there like right before lunch is being served. You get your nice breakfast burrito, but you want something, maybe a little sweet to add on the back end. You walk right out that door, which is technically connected. So I'm not cheating. It's technically connected. You can get a Dole Whip right there.
Yeah.
No, it is not part of Captain's, but it's close enough.
They took out the Dole Whips from Captain Cook. That was a sad day.
Yeah.
But then
They just
again,
moved it on the other side of the wall.
yeah, but it used to be self-serve. And you used to be able to take extreme advantage of it. It was actually it was really kind of fun because you'd be able to get people that have Dole Whips that are as big as your head, and they put a stop to that.
Yes, Danny was reading off the menu for some of that because they have a very extensive menu. That's not disqualified. That is called good sportsmanship. I was prepared. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I will say that I noticed that you pulled up the menu. Okay. So what can I tell you? I guess I'm going to have to do the same thing. So he's giving that college easy rewrite. Plagiarism. And so, well, I'll tell you what. I really do like the Contempo Cafe, and let me tell you a little bit about it. It's at the Contemporary Resort. It is literally right next to Chef Mickey's. It's really super easy to get to. Now, the nice part is that, they do have, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the nice part is that, you can get anything for breakfast that you want. They've got your oatmeal, a scramble, Mickey waffles. Hey, you got Mickey waffles. Grilled breakfast sandwich, a bounty platter, which, let's face it, bounty platter is pretty much everything you get with everything you want. Eggs, bacon, sausage, spuds, fruit, waffle. It's awesome, right? And they got Mickey meals, like a Mickey breakfast sandwich and a breakfast platter. Other kids' meals like the mini Mickey shaped waffles. Come on, even adults like Mickey shaped waffles. Let's face it. For lunch, actually, I think this is where I think the Contempo Cafe starts to shine. Okay, because think about it. It's lunchtime. You're right next to the Magic Kingdom. Really simple to get to. You can get anything from pasta to some signature dishes like a braised beef grilled cheese. Not your own typical grilled cheese, a braised beef grilled cheese. That sounds so good. A sustainable catch fish sandwich. A Chicago style Italian beef sub. I haven't tried that yet. And being a Chicagoan, I want to find out if it really truly is Chicago style. It's as simple as that. And you can also get a burger. You can get a fried chicken sandwich. Actually, that sounds really good, dude. I don't care what you say. That sounds super. Speaking of super, they've got soup. Who would eat soup? But some of their soups are good. They've got flatbreads. Anything from a standard, meat lovers flatbread, buffalo chicken flatbread. I've had that before. It's really, really good. They've got salads. Seriously, you're saying to yourself, why would I want to eat a salad at Walt Disney World? Trust me, after a while, sometimes all you feel like is a really good salad. I don't know what it is. To me, that's just the way it is. And of course, you got kids' meals of all different sorts, everything from nuggets, flatbread, hamburger, cheeseburger, desserts. They've got soft serve ice cream, other stuff right there from a take and go type of thing. This is where I think though it shines, and that's dinner. Okay, they've got a grilled salmon that sounds absolutely out of this world. Like with rice, sherry ginger dressing, and seasonal vegetables. It is really super. It is absolutely wonderful. I've actually had that. It's really good. They've got pasta. They got a chicken dinner and a slow roasted strip loin. But they also have some of the sandwiches as well, and the flatbreads. But you know, the interesting part is that they've changed some of their salads a little bit. I used to love the salad that they had with sirloin in it, but they also had a Caesar salad with chicken that was absolutely, I don't know what it was. I've had Caesar salads before. This is absolutely fantastic. And they also now have a Caesar salad with salmon instead of chicken. That doesn't necessarily, that sounds different, but it's pretty impressive. The nice part is that my daughter has had the pasta before. She says it's absolutely wonderful. But here's one of the things that yes, and the Alfredo there is also really super good. And Stan, you actually mentioned the one thing I wanted to say is the piece de resistance of being at the Contempo, and that is you can sit and watch the monorails go by. I mean, that is like, my wife absolutely adores that idea because my wife is like the ultimate monorail fan, and you watch the monorails go by. It's so cool. It's entertaining. It's kind of relaxing. You would think that being right next to Chef Mickey's would be loud and crowded and obnoxious. It's because it's in a big area. You can't really tell all that much. It's actually not too bad noise-wise. It's actually quite relaxing. We've actually made stops there on purpose. You get out of the parks for just a little bit, and boom, go have a nice lunch, go have a nice dinner. Then, of course, have some good shopping while you're at it. I really enjoy it. And to be honest, I could have picked any other food courts or quick serve because, some people love like the quick serve at like say Pop Century. I hear it's really, really super good. I've only eaten a couple little meals there. Art of Animation. I think Art of Animation has some amazing food, but I also think that it's so crowded at Art of Animation that has. It just seems difficult to get around in sometimes. Same thing for Pop, to be honest with you. So, that's what I had to say. But what other things do you have to take into consideration for your choice of the day?
Well, I'm going to jump into what you had touched on. I'll give you one thing. I think my food selection is a little more out there. So I do understand that it might not fit everybody's needs, even though they have some more generic basic foods, like flatbreads and burgers and chicken sandwiches. Definitely I would feel that Captain Cook's has a different flair to it. If you're not an adventurous eater, you don't like some of the things that I read off the menu, then I can understand why you wouldn't go with it. Listen, I love the idea of being able to eat at the Contemporary and see the monorail go by. Just for me, I don't want to call it a bland menu, but I feel like I can get that stuff everywhere else. Some of it, not all of it. I know you guys are talking about the Alfredo and everything. Yeah, you're probably not. I mean, you probably get that at other places too, but it's like any other menu. I think what makes Captain Cook's ideal for the situation is you're getting something that you physically cannot get anywhere else besides the upper level of the Polynesian, and that would be inside of Tonga toast.
Tonga toast. I will agree. The Tonga toast is definitely a big deal. The only difference between the Tonga toast that you get at Captain Cook's is compared to Kona Cafe is you don't get the strawberry compote mix with
which
it.
Is perfect. I thought that was way too sweet for what it is.
It's very sweet. I like to taste a little bit of it, but it is very, very much a sweet topping. That's for
Mhm.
sure.
Mhm.
I myself don't smear it all over it. That's for darn sure.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that it was open 24 hours.
Yeah. It's technically closed for 1 minute. Now, when they're transitioning from breakfast to lunch, because their lunch and dinner menu is basically the same thing. When they are transitioning, if I'm not mistaken, there's about a half hour buffer where they're making their transitions. The grab and go is still available, whether it's chips and quick sandwiches and drinks, but I'm pretty sure there's about a half hour turnover. I could be mistaken. If somebody knows that to be more precise than what I'm saying, please let us know. But I'm pretty sure there was that small little buffer of, hey, there's nothing to be had during this period of time.
You know, there is one thing to be said about. Now, granted, we kind of picked our resorts because of certain things that we like at them. The interesting part to it, though, is we did pick, we both picked monorail resort food courts, and it's really one of those cases where that was kind of by happenstance. We didn't purposely do that. Um, I will say that, and I can't remember, I can never remember the name of the quick serve place at the Grand Floridian. I've had some wonderful meals there too, I might add. It's that's also a really good place. I had some kind of a blackened fish sandwich there for
Oh,
lunch
the
this
Gasparilla Island Grill.
Gasparilla Island. Yes, thank you. Someone mentioned that. I really super enjoyed that place too. And they also have some desserts there that are just outstanding. So, I mean, the fact of the matter is that you can actually, if you need to get away from the park for just a little bit, from the Magic Kingdom for just a little bit, these are actually three very good choices that anybody can make, no matter what you like to eat. I am sure that you can find something that is going to really suit your needs. I myself like to go to the Contempo Cafe mainly because I tend to get a salad there, but it's still a salad that is hearty enough where I'm not going to be hungry in 45 minutes. I tend to like to eat a little bit lighter at times, not so heavy, not so greasy, especially during the hotter months of the summer. So some of their salads are absolutely perfect for me. I know to some that might seem kind of odd, and there might be some people that think that, why would why would I want to try to eat healthy when I'm on vacation? I found that once I eat a little bit healthier during a Disney vacation, especially when it gets hotter, I tend to feel a whole lot better and I get a lot better energy. I tend not to get as fatigued. It just works out a whole lot better. That's why I make some of those different choices than, hey, I love myself a good burger, man. And some of the sandwiches some of the sandwiches these places have are just great and I can eat them all day. That's why I pick for good salad. Oh yeah.
No, I know you gave the mention to Gasparillo. I'm gonna give a mention to the Riverside Mill over at the Riverside Resort.
Yeah.
Hours, I think they close at like 10:30 or 11, like that.
They do have
But
shorter hours.
they have a green Bayou burger, and I'm gonna look at the camera to prove to you I'm not reading off a menu. It's a green Bayou burger, and it's a burger, cheese, lettuce, tomato, and then a green fried tomato on top with this signature sauce. Mamma mia, is this burger good? When I went down there in March and I stayed at Riverside, I ate this burger 4 nights in a row. It came to the point where I turned around and I was like, okay, I need some foliage. I need to eat a salad because I'm going to die if I just keep eating green fried tomatoes on a
Ooh,
burger.
look, a
every
burger.
day. Absolutely fantastic place to go stop by if anybody is also looking for. Listen, prices are, I mean, this is the way I look at it. If you're looking for more, I don't even adventurous foods, like really out there foods, you're going to go to deluxe resorts. If you're looking to spice up your menu a little bit, but still have a variety of both, you're going to want to go to a moderate. If you don't want a very little of a spiced menu, but get your basics in there and the things that you really want, boom, you go to a value. Yes, green tomatoes are foliage, but when green tomatoes are fried, that kind of defeats the purpose of the foliage because they're fried.
You know, I've seen like Pop Century also has a really good food court, and they've actually got some really good feature of the day, feature entree of the day type of thing. And a lot of it looks like good, wholesome, mom's cooking, so to speak. I will totally agree. The problem of it is, and this is what happened to me. It happened to a friend of mine. Actually, a couple of friends of mine have said the same thing. It's just that by the time you finally get there, you go there to try to, get that one entree of the day, and it's the wrong day. It's like, oh, that's on Tuesdays. It's Wednesday. Oh, really? And that's kind of a bummer. We had a listener just mentioned Roaring Fork over at Wilderness Lodge, and interesting part that you say that. I have yet to try Roaring Fark. Roaring Fork. I did not say anything that was a 4-letter censored word. I said fark.
Oh, I thought you said fart.
I said fark. F-A-R-K. I have not actually been to Roaring Fork since my first trip to the Wilderness Lodge. And it was fantastic then. Everybody, Jamie has just made mention, Roaring Fork at Wilderness will not make anyone's list, but the homemade chili is awesome. And I have to agree with that. Their homemade chili, even back then, was very much noteworthy. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And why would I have chili in the middle of summer? Because sometimes it's good. But yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, this was a tough one because I'm not the biggest fan of quick service places. So I tried to pick something where, listen, there's plenty of days I'm like, I want to be adventurous. You give me a cricket on a stick, I'm probably going to try it. But then there's other days I'm like, I just want, that comfort food. Just give me a burger, give me some fries, I'm going to go back to my room and relax. That's the luxury of some of these quick service places is being able to literally get either comfort food, or, off the wall food and something even in the middle. Both choices were good. Going in the last week's show, I was very, very pumped at the idea of, picking the poly. I knew I was going to crush Chris, killed him. This week, I'm going to tell you what, I was a little nervous going in, and I'm a little nervous as this show winds down, but I have a feeling if Chris doesn't win, and when we put it up to a poll, it might go somewhere else.
Oh, wait a second. You're saying
food at these resorts are good.
You're saying that to try to influence people right off the bat, aren't you? Because I will tell you this: you can't beat having an audience with the monorail. You can't beat food that is just cooked really well, and you can't beat selection for both adults and kids when it comes to the Contempo Cafe. I think it's a little bit more upscale. I think it's a little bit more upscale than your typical place, in a sense of just the food, choices, quality. I just think that you can't beat it. I love myself some Captain Cook's. One trip I did eat there twice, and I had two different things. There were sandwiches. They were huge sandwiches. Both were very good. Maybe a little bit too much bread, but that's okay. I really enjoyed them. But I always go back to the Contempo Cafe.
Listen, at the end of the day, I think we both had good choices, and I think at the end of the day, we both could sit here and say, you've got the monorail, you've got food, I've got Tonga toast, I've got, Dole Whip right on the other side. You can't disqualify me for that. No. It's technically connected.
I'll give you that.
But in the same hand, listen, nothing beats Disney Springs food, but that's for another show.
Well, here's something, and I'm going to kind of going off a little bit of what Stan just mentioned about how they upped their game over at Pop by having Dole Whips. So let me ask this question as well. Not necessarily referring to the two eateries that you and I have talked about. Is there a quick serve within a resort that you would make a special trip to just for a particular dish? And if so, what is that dish?
Probably the green fried tomato over at the Riverside Mill. It's a good burger. It's a
It,
solid burger. Not as
yeah,
good as deluxe burger,
no.
but it's also a little bit cheaper. And if you're in the area, it's gonna be 100 times quicker than deluxe burger is. Not counting the mobile ordering app over on deluxe, but yeah, I would say not counting the Tonga toast at Poly, this would be my all right. If I really wanted something, I was hankering for something, it would definitely be the green fried tomato burger, the Bayou burger over at Riverside Mill.
And I think for something unique, one other thing, and Heather really is in tune with me tonight. She basically mentioned what I was going to say: French Quarter for beignets, and I have to agree. That is just one of the coolest things that you can get at any resort food court are those beignets, and they are absolutely they're absolutely fabulous. I mean, they are so rich. They like bypass the digestive system and turn directly into body fat. I mean, they're just really good. They're so sweet. Oh, but first time I had those, I fell in love with beignets. I was like, oh yeah,
The
what jambalaya?
jambalaya is really good over at French Quarter though.
It
And I'm
is.
not a jambalaya fan, and that is banging. It is good.
I'll give you that. And actually, this is one of those cases where I also think is a hidden gem as well. But Artist Palette over at Saratoga Springs also has a very good quick serve place there. I mean, it's fabulous. I mean, they have some really good choices there that are not your ordinary food. And at the same time, if you're spending time over at Disney Springs and you just kind of need to get away from the crowd for a little bit, Artist Palette is just on the other side of the water. You can take a water taxi just to the outside of it. It's a good place to go. It really is. It's a good place to go. You know, there's one thing I keep hearing sometimes people say, what's the best eatery to go to? What I want to know what the best place to go to. There is no real best answer when someone asks, what is the best location to have a meal, because it depends on what you like. Danny and I, as you can see, we have different viewpoints on a lot of different things. Some people like to go for cheesecake at Pop. As Heather said, the beignets drizzled with caramel sauce. Oh gosh, that sounds so good right now. The jambalaya, the flatbreads, the salads, the Tonga toast, this, that, and the other. The fact of the matter is that I think in order to really have a good understanding, you got to take a look at some of the menus that are available, some of the pricing that's available, and never be afraid to go a little out of your way to try something different. And if you don't see something on the menu, or if you don't like something that's added to a particular item, feel free to ask who's ever behind the counter to possibly make something a little off menu. I've never seen anybody have a problem with that in order to get something that they're going to enjoy. That's one of the bigger things. I think people think it's just because it's a food court. It's like going to, your local Mickey D's or something like that. It's going to be the same old, and it's really not.
You ever notice that Disney seems to do a great job on unique items and specialty foods and like these exotic foods, but they seem to miss the mark on the simple things?
Can you give an example of such?
Magic Kingdom food is terrible. I gotta
Well,
get on this. Like, you mess up small, like, simple things. Like, how do you mess up mac and cheese? How do you have a Boston cream pie, but like in the cupcake, but there's like barely any cream filling inside of it? Like, simple things that kind of shake my head. I'm like, huh. But then you can nail like, this pineapple and peppers and chicken skewer over at Polynesia. I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. Like, I think they knock out of the park these exciting things and these extra, like the jambalaya. Why would you think a theme park can make some good jambalaya?
See, here's the thing, though. I don't find the food like at Magic Kingdom or any of the other parks to be all that bad. I mean, the thing of it is that you know, yeah, sure, I enjoy Casey's, but it's not the only place I like at Magic Kingdom. I'm a fan of Cosmic Rays because sometimes I want just a darn good burger. It also has a few other good things on the menu that you're not going to find anywhere else. I haven't been to Columbia Harbor House in a long time. I know you had a recent, not so awesome experience over there. Some people have not liked Pinocchio Village House. I've liked it. Some people didn't like Pecos Bills. Didn't have a problem with it. See, the thing is that here's my take. You kind of have to look at each one of these places as what are they going to be good at, and if you don't necessarily like it, fine, move on. If it's something that you really want to try again, give it another shot. Some places do have off days. That's something that I very rarely have I said, "Holy cow, I will never eat there again." It was that bad, and that's the thing. There have been very few times where I have thinked my English is great tonight, where I have thought that it's been that bad. But then again, I understand where you're coming from. Then you have to stop and think about the audience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to be a little bit simpler because I think that's what they're expecting. You know, I like Stan is actually mentioning, how Magic Kingdom has Nutella waffles. What else could you want? You go over to Sleepy Hollow and you get the waffles of any sort, and they're just darn good. So
No, I'm not, and let me rephrase that. Maybe I came off saying, "Wow, all Magic Kingdom food is terrible." No, there are a handful selected things, in my opinion. You guys need to understand this is my opinion.
Yes, of
in
course.
my opinion, there's a handful of things inside Magic Kingdom where I'm like, "Wow, that's good." At the same time, you want examples? Here's your example. You want to talk about how good the Nutella waffle is at Sleepy Hollow? Great. Absolutely fantastic. How do you mess up chicken and waffles?
Oh, you can.
How do you mess that up? You can't, but they did. They did. That chicken and waffles horrendous.
See, I thought you liked it.
I mean, it was edible. I mean, I'm a big guy, so you put certain things in front of me when I'm hungry, I'll eat it. But it was not the. You know what it is? And maybe it's an unfair stance on me, but I was comparing it to the Nutella waffle, and the Nutella waffle blew my socks off.
Okay, so it's not that. So you're not saying everything over there at Sleepy Hollow was bad. You just didn't like the chicken.
Nothing lived up to the actually the pretzel dog is really good.
Oh,
simple,
yeah.
Just a hot dog and a bun that wrapped around it. So once again, hopefully you can't mess that up. Casey's delicious. Columbian Harbor House was not a fan. Cosmic Rays, I'm sorry, not a fan. My personal opinion, and I will say, Cosmic Rays does have good French fries though.
Yeah, they do, and they have that huge topping bar that's just out of this world. It's big.
Yeah. And listen, I know a lot of people are saying, "I love the food inside Magic Kingdom." More power to you. Please keep buying it. Keep doing what you want. The whole point of it is, we dimed the quote, "Everybody does Disney differently." Well, everybody eats at Disney differently. I'll coin that phrase.
Wow, we need to put that on a shirt. Everybody eats at Disney differently. we put our favorite items there. Danny likes these items. Chris likes these items. Danny's gonna put one of them. He's gonna put on there. He's gonna like the turkey leg and.
I'm gonna pose something because Jamie put this and a few other people put this. They cook so fast, so much so fast, impossible to always be awesome all the time. Okay. Then don't charge me $13 for a hamburger. If I'm paying over what a hamburger would necessarily cost in a different place, I expect it to be a $13 hamburger. If I go to a restaurant and you pay $105 for a steak, shouldn't it taste like a $105 steak? Busy or not, I'm just saying, when you're putting your money on the table, you should be getting a return for it. Listen, if we made you, this is gonna be a weird example, but I'm rolling with it. If I made you pay to come watch us, you went to a comedy show. Don't you have the right to complain if you paid $20 for a comedy show and didn't laugh? It might not be your sense of humor, you still have a right to complain. Listen, I went in and I said, "Hey, I want a burger. I don't like the burger." Well, you got a few options. You can go back, try to get your money back. You can try to just get a new burger from them, or you could just choose to be like me and come complain on a talk show. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, everybody's got their own taste buds.
Yeah, but there's different kinds of complaining though. Okay, I mean, if you think about it, there's different kinds of negative feedback that we're talking about. If you don't like something, fine, you don't like something. If something is horrible, it's horrible. Could you go back to Teresa's comment? I want to see what she said. I saw Old Key West. I want to hear it. Old Key West has the best quick service around. Olivia's restaurant, in which we like. I mean, my cousins even surprised you there. Olivia's is not a quick serve, but it is one. It is an absolutely fabulous. It's an absolutely fabulous table service eatery. I think one of the absolute most relaxed places around. But I will say that they have a place called Goods Food to Go, and it is it's a hole in the wall type of quick serve place, and it is too also really good. In fact, they make cheesy grits there. It is the only place that my wife will eat cheesy grits. It is absolutely fabulous. So Olivia's is really super good for a table service, and we may have to do that head to head, and I may have to tip my hat on that one. But Goods is actually a great place for some good food. The only problem with it is it's so small; it does not handle a large lunch rush very easily.
See, I disagree with Cindy here.
What she said?
People going to Disney really are not going for gourmet meals.
I kind of have to disagree. I agree with you, Danny.
Yeah.
I kind of have to do because I'll tell you what, I'm a foodie, and I will tell you right now, the first 5 trips, easily, if not more, half of my time at Disney revolved around food and restaurants. And I'm not necessarily expecting gourmet, but I am expecting a really good dining experiences. I think gourmet. I think of California Grill. I think of going to like places like Narcoossee's or some other really even some of the family style or buffet places can actually be upper class type of things. But I do expect a good meal for the price that I pay. Okay, that's the thing. I haven't tried Victoria and Albert's yet. It is on my bucket list. I'll be honest with you, but Kathy's not really interested in going to Victoria and Albert's. She wants to try all the other places first. But still,
it's expensive. It's no joke. I looked at the prices the other day and I was like, "Woo, doggy."
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Do I go?
I apologize. There was one comment that really caught my eye just a second ago. Okay. Yeah. For a minute, I think Kurt says, "I'm a chef and I love the food at Disney. It's one of the best parts of your trips." Actually, I thought Kurt says, "I'm a chef at Disney." I was like, "Oh, let's talk to Kurt." No, sorry, Kurt, but I appreciate that because a lot of times if you think about it, we're foodies, but when you have a chef that actually says some other things like that, I mean, I take a lot of merit in that type of comment, because I think there's obviously differences between being a professional chef, someone who has, done a lot in culinary arts versus those of us. And I do love Disney Cruise Line food. Oh my gosh. I've talked about it before. I'll talk about it again. In fact, one of these days I would love for Danny and I to do a cruise with a whole bunch of other people and just sit at one big gigantic table and say, "I want one of them. I want one of them. I want one of them." It's like, see this whole...
I'm going to take the whole left side of the menu. Yeah. He'll take the whole right side of the menu.
and don't think that we wouldn't do it, and don't think that they wouldn't give it to us. I mean, this Disney Cruise Line is the only place like I can't figure out whether or not I want this sandwich or I want this, and I bring you both. Oh yeah.
Am I missing something? What is Y&R? I see a couple people mentioning Y&R. So if anybody could tell us what Y&R is.
The Young and the Restless?
I don't know why I feel like I'm on an episode of Young and the Restless. Listen, I want to correct something that relating to Cindy's comment about people don't go to Disney for, gourmet food. She was more specifically speaking about Magic Kingdom.
Right.
I do understand it. Listen, when I go to Magic Kingdom, I'm not there for the food. You are right. I am there to be in Magic Kingdom, to be in Disney World, to ride the rides, to see Mickey, do all the nonsense. At the same time, it is Young and Rose.
Ah, good call.
Good call. At the end of the day, food does play a huge part in my life and Chris's life. And all I'm going to say is if you're going to charge the prices that some of these sit down restaurants charge inside Magic Kingdom, even the quick service, I just kind of feel like there should be more value to what I'm getting. That's all. Listen,
Yeah.
it's not all of Disney. I think there's some major hit and misses at Animal Kingdom. I think there's some major hit and misses at Epcot and so on and so forth. Even Disney Springs, I feel like there's some major hit and misses. But at the end of the day, I think there's more hits than misses in all those other ones. Whereas in Magic Kingdom, I feel like it's more misses than hits. I feel like you can walk into some of these quick services or sit downs inside Magic Kingdom and maybe, in my opinion, find one or two things on that menu. You're like, okay, that's good. And then in my opinion, everything else is like, or I could walk into a restaurant in the Springs or in Epcot where it is more geared towards food, look at a menu and be like, holy moly, I don't know where to start.
Yeah, but here's something I just thought of. You talk about Magic Kingdom. If you think about it, when Magic Kingdom was created, I would say, the restaurants that are in Magic Kingdom kind of fit Magic Kingdom and the theme of the Magic Kingdom. And, it's not focused on food, in the sense of experiences. I mean, yes, they have Be Our Guest in there, which has it's an absolutely wonderful dining venue. People either love it or hate it when it comes to the food. And you've got a couple places where you can go and eat, sit down and have a nice meal. People either love them or hate them in some cases. As time goes on, if you think about it, Epcot has got fabulous choices, both table service and quick service places. Animal Kingdom, it's different, but they have some good choices there as well. And, I will say that over at Studios, they even have some good choices, but they're limited onto the more upscale dining. So the fact of the matter is that it kind of depends on where you go. That's where I think the resorts come into play, in the sense of the dining choices themselves. Some people are going to want to leave the parks to go and get a good meal at times. Sometimes you're going to want to stay in the parks and have a good meal at times. Disney, I think, does a really good job at trying to balance it out. But it kind of depends on where you're going to be and what you're going to have a taste for and what can you get ADRs for at the same time. But we should talk, Danny, though. One thing. I don't know if we got time for it. Tell me if you think so. Do you think that the dining plans have impacted just dining from an experience perspective at Disney?
How so?
Well, before the dining plans, during my first few trips, we just went wherever we wanted and so on and so forth. And it was also a little bit easier to get into some of the places, even though we did get ADRs at 6 months out and so on and so forth. We did the dining plans a few times, and we found that a lot of our dining experiences revolved around, or a lot of our days revolved around the dining experiences. And, as time goes on, it kind of makes me wonder, did we get more without the dining plans being offered back in the day? Or have things changed to kind of meet the needs of the dining plan in the sense of cost and value and perspective? Because you and I have talked about how, some of the dining plans could be a really good value for some people and not a really good value for some others. But do you think the changes in what's being offered for dining, do they go hand in hand with what's being offered, so to speak? Do those things impacted how we experience the dining experience itself?
I'm gonna have to take a day to think about that.
We'll do another show on that one.
We'll do another show on that because that one I think is a very in-depth question that is going to take some serious time to rethink how that.
Maybe, you know what? Why don't we talk about that on Thursday?
Okay.
And the reason why I say it is because keep in mind, I'm not saying whether or not the dining plan is worth it. That's not my question. I'm just thinking, I'm wondering if the dining plan has changed how we dine or the offerings that Disney's provided, or the dining experiences that we see, would they have changed anyway with or without the dining plan? We can actually make that a small segment on Thursday's show. Now that I got myself thinking about it, gosh, I'm going to sit here and start writing notes about it after this show. Great. Thanks a lot, Chris. Good show, dude.
Anything else you want to add to tonight's show?
I enjoy some of these throwdowns, and I know that somebody's going to post an opinion poll over on the WDW community page to basically say which one of us do you think won. Personally, I think it's really relatively close because they're both very good places. They both have very good offerings, and if you haven't tried one or the other or both, give them a try on your next trip. They're two very good places to go. They've got really good offerings. They're both in some really beautiful resorts. You can walk over there from the Magic Kingdom or take a monorail. Take a monorail over to the Poly. It's a lot of fun just to explore dining at some of the resorts at times. You wouldn't think that it'd be your first choice, but sometimes you just need to take a ride on a monorail. And sometimes that's all the excuse you need.
Mm-hmm. With that being said, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. Facebook is Behind the Ears Podcast, Instagram Behind the Ears Podcast, and that pesky Twitter that we tend not to use, Behind the Ears PC. Don't forget to join our fantastic no drama Disney group on Facebook, WDW Community. Don't forget to go on iTunes and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let me rephrase that. Go on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Behind the Ears Podcast, and then go on iTunes, rate and review the show. I know it sounds trivial and like I'm beating a dead horse, but I promise you there is a specific reason for doing that. With that being said, everybody, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you all on Thursday. I am Uncle Danny. Salutations.
And I'm Mr. Chris. Thank you a lot. Thank you a lot. Gosh, man, you can't talk. I can't talk. Thanks a whole bunch for being here with us and just dealing with us not being able to talk sometimes. As we said, this is an unscripted show, and that's just proof of it. By all means, we ask that you subscribe to the show over at iTunes, Google Play. Listen to us over at Stitcher. Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, ask Alexa to play us, ask Google Home Assistant to play us, and hey, they'll play us. And you'll always get the most up-to-date episode, and that is exactly what you need when you just need a little dose of Disney, especially when we talk about food. But I'll tell you what, thank you again so much for being here tonight. Thank you for supporting the show. We really, really appreciate it. And until we meet again, we hope you have a magical day. Take care.